What's
What? We are
up?
live.
We're back again on a Tuesday. I hope everyone's
on-
eyes are working and weren't staring at the sun too long yesterday.
The eclipse in full effect, right?
Yeah. Did you guys get any of it over there?
Apparently we were supposed to, but it was like really cloudy and dismal and not a great deal. So
Shocker.
it was dark, I think, by the time that
Yeah.
all unfolded. But it is what it is. Saw some great footage from the US, right?
Yeah, it was a big deal. People were traveling, taking off work, having parties and pictures and all kinds of craziness. And out here in California, I looked through a little dark lens and I saw like half of the sun, and I'm like, okay, cool. But that's why we're here on Tuesday, because we wanted everyone to enjoy that once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime. It won't happen for another 40 years, but get ready. In 3 years, we'll have another one. And solar eclipse.
Yeah, there's always an eclipse knocking around, right?
So, yeah, that moon just gets in the way.
Long may it continue. So we're here. We do have a guest. We'll bring him on in a second. But before we do that, Justin, I know there's like a lot going on in Secrets of Success. It's forever fast moving and action and things going on. Where are we up to with the goodies and the stuff?
I just got back from Boise. We had our Inner Circle Atlas week up there, rented out the beautiful Boise Center, and just amazing to hang out with everybody. Bunch of round pegs in there. And Russell made the debut. Now it's the debut within Inner Circle, so it's not public yet. Bibliomania Part 2, which is an amazing 35-minute documentary of the journey of Napoleon Hill, the foundation. It really focuses on Don Green and the plane rides and all the craziness that happened. And it was so good. Dan Usher and the team. I told them we're submitting this thing for documentary of the year at all the places, Cannes, Sundance, LA Film, and we'll get accepted somewhere, maybe even win. It'll just be more, document the journey on some red carpet somewhere.
100%. So that's exciting. Think good things coming. We know we've got Think and Grow Rich Challenge and a bunch of other stuff coming up. What about updates for affiliates, updates for the group in general? Anything exciting?
The biggest thing is obviously Think and Grow Rich Challenge is going to be our flagship event. This is the one that we're looking that will probably, hopefully bring in, double or even triple the membership size. So whether you're an affiliate or not, just stay tuned. It's coming up real soon in a matter of weeks. The announcement will come out. We got the coolest URL of all time working with the foundation, and it's going to be amazing. And we got the speakers that are getting lined up. So it's just stay tuned. Thanks for your patience, but it's going to knock your socks off. And we're unlocking a whole new level of Secrets of Success with it. So just know that if you love it now, boy, oh boy, you're going to love it in a couple of weeks.
Oh, man. It's exciting times, right? And I've seen some of the bits and pieces moving behind the scenes. I know Russell's doing a lot, and you guys are working super hard to pull all this together. So it's exciting. Affiliates, I think you know what to do by now, right? It's like build the army, get ready, think about your pages, think about your approach, think about your strategy. We will have training and different things going on in the group. But for today, Justin, we do have a guest. We do have some stuff we're going to talk about in terms of Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich is going to be featured on this show. Let us know in the comments what you get out of this as well. And we're hoping that we can have guests as we move forward and bring you as much insight into, man, these things have changed lives, not just a few lives, but this has been changing lives for generations, right? This has been changing lives for literally 100 years plus. And this is something that everybody needs to be taking on board. I want to bring somebody to the stage in a second. And I know we've both worked with this guy in different guises in the past. Justin, who have we got lined up?
We got Rex Siles, and he's an amazing guy. And he was actually at the auction when I first met Don Green, which was the beginning of this Bibliomania Part 2 documentary. So it's really great to have Rex. And I've met him through other masterminds, and they were having a mastermind at a billionaire's house when we met. So welcome to the stage, Rex Siles. Woo, woo, woo.
Rex Siles is on board.
Sykes. It's good to meet you, Jacob Benton.
Yeah.
How you doing, Jacob?
Yeah, I get Jason all the time.
That's Jason. Okay. My last name is Sykes.
He's here.
I'll take Siles from you.
He's in the flesh. We did it the other day, and I think we called you something else as well. So
I'm always called different things. It's okay.
different things. We are in the place and we are live and direct. But Rex,
Yes.
Think and Grow Rich has been an important part of your life, and Napoleon Hill, and Justin's mentioned a few times that you guys have connected in the past. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your history? And
So first,
what
let me
brings
say
you to-
hello to all the affiliates and all the Secrets of Success troopers. Those people who are in the trenches doing the stuff and imbibing everything that you and Justin and Russell and all put out. That's so amazing and so wonderful. And to keep it going, keep it going. My journey with Napoleon Hill started when I was 6 years old. I had been raised a Catholic, and I always wanted to be an actor, and I wanted to be a mystic because I thought the priest had some kind of special connection with God. So I asked my mom to read books around the house that would help my mind, help my spirit, help me be that mystic. And of course, one of them was Think and Grow Rich. And so I started reading. She read it to me until I was about 11. Somewhere in there, I started reading my own books and doing it. But I've read Think and Grow Rich almost every day of my life. There's about 1.5 years when I didn't. I've talked about that before. It's when I had a crisis in my life, was when I stopped reading and doing the work. But a number of years ago, the family of Napoleon Hill reached out to me. They said, "Hey, we've seen your work. We know who you are. We love what you're doing and how you honor our great-grandfather or grandfather, things like that." And I was humbled. I was shocked and surprised and delighted. Don Green is a wonderful and a good guy and a dear friend. So I love the connection and everything that's going on with Napoleon Hill. I've taught Napoleon's work for well over 45 years. And he is powerful. There's a lot of other through the Secrets of Success book club. You're people are starting to learn about all the other people around the time of Napoleon Hill, before, during, and since him. And so there are many that I really love, many that are known and still as of yet unknown. But Hill, for some reason in my life, totally resonated with me. He was one of those people who I read Laws of Success and I read Think and Grow. I've read everything he's ever done. And but Think and Grow Rich has a very soft spot in my heart because it was probably, it was the first book that I read. I would say this: a lot of people completely miss the nuance and the power and the just incredible amount of transformation potential in Think and Grow Rich or Laws of Success or any of his works, because people tend to quote the same quotes all the time. And where the meat is in the things that haven't been quoted. It's in the sentences that most people just kind of read over and go, okay, whatever. And a lot of people, I taught a Think and Grow Rich book study a year or two ago for a bunch of people. And it's amazing how many people, no matter how much they read, they don't actually do the work. They don't actually do what he says. He'll say, highlight this. He'll say, read this. He'll go, read this 3 times, go back, read this chapter, read chapter 4 every day for 30 days. When you get to the end of the book, go back and read it 3 times. I mean, he tells you exactly what to do in order to be successful. And people read it, as most people do, like novels. They read it to get done, put it aside, go, I've read Think and Grow Rich. And then maybe they read it every year, every 10 years or something like that. But the work is all laid out for you. I mean, and it's truly beautiful, and it's a great process. And if you use it, you will do well by it.
So powerful, so cool. Justin, what's your thoughts on that, buddy?
Well, for me, like, the biggest thing is that, we're talking about a book that is kind of the foundation of Secrets of Success. I mean, it became our first author. And before, and the reason that we're talking about Think and Grow Rich is because it's the most famous of all of the books. And it's crazy how people, and wonderful how people have been doing a mastermind on Think and Grow Rich, like Rex, for, years and years on end. And when we opened up Secrets of Success, we got to hear so many more of these stories that, people have masterminds just on that book. But again, a lot of us knew about Think and Grow Rich, but many, a vast majority had no idea about Laws of Success and, the 1925. And here's the other thing. I just got on the phone with Don about 20 minutes ago, and he found something else. And, because we have such a great relationship with Secrets of Success and Don Green over there at Napoleon Hill Foundation, he's sending a book that was advertising. It's a sales book that he thinks is one of one. And he's sending our direction for, to be putting into this, our membership side. And that's the thing about this is like we're seeing unpublished manuscripts. Outwitting the Devil is Russell's favorite book, but then the next year there's an unpublished manuscript out there called Outwitting the Beast that were in the works of publishing. So again, that's what's so amazing is that like Napoleon Hill was a writer. And so he wrote so many things, and Think and Grow Rich was great. He really meant kind of for entrepreneurs to lift the spirits of the American public after the Depression. But when you start down that rabbit hole, it goes all the way down. So anyways, just so excited. And the reason why we're talking about all this again and focusing, having Rex on as an expert, is that, we have a Think and Grow Rich challenge coming, and it is going to be unlike anything that's ever been done. We're hoping for hundreds of thousands of people to show up, and we're going to go down and teach these principles. Russell's going to teach. We're going to have great speakers. We're going to have bonuses and VIPs and all kinds of incredible things for everybody. So yeah, just always excited to talk about Think and Grow Rich and all things Napoleon Hill.
100%. And Rex, over the years, if you've been, plugged into this since an early age, you must have had takeaways that have evolved, right? So you see it in one sense, and then maybe it means something else later down the line. Does that happen? Is that something you might be able to share with us based on your experience of how things have helped you over the years?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a strange analogy. Today our technology exists so you can binge watch a series. So, imagine that you have 10 years of a show, and it's 10 episodes per year. That's 100 shows, right? Now you can watch 100 shows in 100 days, or you could watch 2 a day, 3 a day, 4 a day, 5 a day if you had the time, and you'd be done with it. But if in the old days, if it was a weekly show, that meant that there would be 10 episodes spread out over a period of time, And so it would actually be, you would have a 10-year relationship with the show, not a 10-day or a 100-day relationship. The same thing is true about reading a book like Think and Grow Rich, or developing a relationship with that material. And with Napoleon Hill is, you can read it once, but the more you read it, the more you study it, the more you get into it. And the longer that you do, the deeper the relationship goes. And what you think today, you may unthink tomorrow, or think differently, or think deeper about, a few days later. So you got to dive in. You can't just, you go to it's like going to a buffet. You can pick and choose your stuff at first, but the key is that you actually have to consume it to get the nutrition from it. And the same, I just think it's so exciting to have a challenge, the Napoleon Hill Challenge, the Think and Grow Rich Challenge coming up, with all the things that's available for people here to be able to do that, to be able to transform their thinking and therefore their lives. And that's really a very crucial thing, because Hill pointed out, as did others, but the one thing that you have control over is your thoughts. And most people, I have for over 40 years been studying attitude and the placebo and beliefs and the structure. That attitude is the number one predictor for success in every area of your life. Research will tell you that. If your attitude sucks, the results you get also suck. If your attitude is working for you, then the results you get can work. So Napoleon Hill, these thought leaders back then, Buddha, for crying out loud, said, it's with the mind. So this has been going on for centuries. If you control your thoughts, you can control your destiny. Because when you control your thoughts, you control your feelings, you control what you say that comes out of your mouth, and you control your actions. When you're aligned with your heart and your head and your mouth and your actions, you become an incredibly powerful, resourceful person who can explore infinite possibilities and the infinite opportunities that exist all around us and within us. And that's the benefit of really diving in and developing a long-term relationship with this material.
Yeah, I mean, where else are we learning this? We're not learning this in school. We're not learning this on the news. We're not learning this even from our parents in most cases. I mean, you're the earliest I've ever heard that was introduced at 6 years old, which is incredible. How blessed. But again, so there are things in our lives. We have challenges. We have curveballs. We have ups and downs, and maybe one part of life's going well and the other part's not so going well. That's the most amazing thing about this book and the collections of Napoleon Hill's works and others here at Secrets of Success is that it literally gives you the frameworks. And we got Russell Brunson obviously leading the way, scouring, listening at Forex and combing through 15,000 personal development books, which is the largest collection in the world, and coming up with, you know, 1 or 2 books that you know, make up these libraries, and then, you know, pulling out the best of these books and then teaching on it as he's going in real time. And he's writing his book, Secrets of Success. And you can follow that journey if you follow him on Instagram. He's going day 1, day 2, day 3 of writing this book. And you're only going to get the full insights of going through these books by being here. Like, I didn't know who Elsie Lincoln Benedict was. I didn't know who Charles Hannah was. And I know a vast majority of you didn't either. But now Russell's introducing us. And here's the point: teaching us how to get what we want in life. And there is that common theme, like Rex talks about. It's focusing on what you want versus what you don't want, focusing on abundance versus fear, going on faith versus fear. And that hardwiring lizard brain that we have is always looking for what's wrong. And we have the ability with these books and this new thought movement to look for what's going right and envision, you know, the feelings, the mood, like Elsie Lincoln Benedict talks about, and the structure and the framework that Napoleon Hill got by interviewing over 500 of the most successful people in the world up until, you know, in the 1930s and for 20 years. So again, we're just so excited. I know so many of you are like so jazzed because your life's changing and you're getting more things that you want. And we're just going to continue to teach. And for those of you that are serious about rolling up the sleeves and getting after it and putting in the work, and I know so many of you are, you're already experiencing the abundance and the change in your life. So just so stoked.
So exciting. And I love the idea that we're still finding unpublished gems, a one of one. Rex,
Today.
that must be like today, right? This must like be. Is this a crazy concept, or is this something you expected, or is this just the norm? What's your thoughts on the fact that there are still things that have potentially never been seen by more than a handful of folks?
Well, I'm sure that's true all over the world, everywhere. I mean, in people's closets or buried in the ground in clay jars. I mean, who knows where it comes from? But yeah, I mean, people have left incredible records of their work and their insights and their discoveries and their transformations. And we're lucky to be able to find them. And by the way, I want to go back to Don Green because he is an amazingly generous and incredible person, and we're so lucky to have him. And he's been a blessing in my life, and what he's doing for the Secrets of Success and how that relationship has developed is amazing. I also want to say that, you know, there are a lot of people out there who are wrong about Napoleon Hill and wrong about teaching these things, in the same way that there are. You know, the one thing about Elsie and Robert Collier and Atkins and Waddles and Hill and Hannell and all these people back then is that they didn't have marketing the way we have marketing. They didn't have social media. They didn't have all this stuff. They were working in many ways independent of each other, as well as sometimes, you know, able to, you know, read books or meet or whatever those who could and did. There are a lot of people, I call them empty suits out there, they're like Think and Grow Rich. It's the most popular book, but the difference between Think and Grow Rich and many books of today is that Think and Grow Rich delivered. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill actually had the goods inside Think and Grow Rich and in Laws of Success in his other works, where a lot of these empty suits are talking, but they have all the wrong stuff. For example, Napoleon Hill said, it's work smarter, not harder. And yet most of your thought gurus go, struggle, work really hard, risk, sacrifice, do all these things, sweat, tears, blah, 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 blah. What kind of mindset is that? That's certainly not like, hey, I can do anything. I got control. I'm able to do things. If there's a hardship, I'll get through it. It's about developing the certainty that what you want to make happen, you will make happen. And if you sit there and think about all the things that could go wrong, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, you should have contingency plans. But if your mindset is that it's going to be hard and tough, and that's not a positive, optimistic mindset that you hear about in Think and Grow Rich. Doesn't mean that things are easy, but our hardships motivate us. Our hardships move us. Our hardships, the problems and things that we encounter. I talk about this all the time. But for example, the Wright brothers, all the while that they were working on trying to fly, were failing. Temporary defeat, of course, but they were failing. And what did they do? What was their failure? They were getting feedback. And during the time that they got their feedback, they would adjust. But the entire time they were experimenting. They didn't know for sure that they would fly, except within them, they felt certain that they would. But there was nothing to prove that they were doing it. And their own family and the press and everybody thought they were idiots. Once they flew, they knew how to fly. Because once they flew, they could tweak it. They could make it better. They could do it. So we're always in the process. We're in a journey of discovery. We're in a journey of experimenting and doing this and doing that and getting feedback. And the thing that sees us through is our passion from the mindset, from our definite chief aim or purpose, and the certainty that we develop to persist and to continue to go through whatever obstacle there is. And that's not hard, and that's not a sacrifice, because if you love what you're doing and you're convinced that you can do it, you never work a day in your life. And there are people out there telling you you can have all these things, but you have to sacrifice and you have to do all this stuff so that you can be someone. And Hill had it right. Be someone first. You'll do all the right things naturally, take all the right actions through the right thoughts and right speech to have everything that you want within the laws of natural success.
Absolutely. Well, and we would be remiss not to say, how have you applied all of these things into your life? And I know you live an incredible life and you've had an incredible teaching. So how have you applied Napoleon Hill's teachings into your life?
Well, I had to stop. Like I said, there was a period in my life where I didn't read and I got off track, and I thought I could just, kind of pull myself up in bootstraps, and I let one thing after the other kind of hit me. I mean, I was 24 at the time, and I ultimately locked myself in my own apartment for over 6 weeks, like between 6 and 8 weeks, to just get my mindset right. And during that time, I went back into reading Napoleon Hill and visualizing and affirming and doing all this stuff, and had breakthroughs that allowed me to go back out into the world and live the kind of life that I wanted. Now, that said, a lot of people think, well, you've been doing this stuff for so long, so you must just have a rosy life. Yes, I do, but that doesn't mean there aren't hardships. That doesn't mean there aren't disappointments. That doesn't mean that people don't die. It doesn't mean that, I've lost money many times. I've been divorced. I mean, all sorts of things happen. It's how you go through it that matters. And if you can go through it, and respond in a way that doesn't hurt or harm other people, but creates more harmony and better understanding and greater connection, then it doesn't matter. I'm at the point in my life now where if I don't have things, I don't care, because I've been in too many billionaire and millionaires' homes who've got everything, but they're not happy. I'm happy with what I have. And Napoleon Hill, before he died, when he wrote Peace of Mind, Think and Grow Rich Through Peace of Mind, said, there was only one of the 520 people that he modeled that had peace of mind, who didn't commit suicide, who didn't go to jail, who didn't become a drug addict or an alcoholic. And that was John Burroughs, a naturalist, because he sought peace in his life and balance over just pursuing cash and things and everything. So I'm at that place in my life where I'm pretty darn peaceful. Things are good and things are wonderful, and life is good, regardless if I have money or don't have money, whether things work out or don't work out, is all part of the journey. And I would say this, how I've applied it is, I understand now that you may or may not ever get to the destination, meaning, I could have a goal 20 years from now, I could die between now and then, or tomorrow for that matter. So it's not about the destination, although it is. It's about how you get to the destination and enjoying each and every moment. And in doing that, we're outwitting the devil. We're making things happen, and we're living life as best you can. But it starts here. It starts with the person inside you and who you are. And here, but it's a heart and the head thing. It's not just. Let me put it this way. Some people say, "Oh, there's toxic positivity," or they go, toxic optimism, or Pollyanna. And I'm like, Pollyanna is the most underrated person in the world, because all she did was find good in bad situations and encourage other people to do the same. And when you can do that, you live a completely different life, and a life of good and well-being. And that's what I hope for everyone. And that's why we teach Napoleon Hill. That's why we share it. That's why Russell's making these books available to people, because it works, and it's worthwhile to know, and it's worthwhile to do. But as Hill would say, if you don't do it, no one will do it for you.
So
Exactly.
powerful. So
Exactly.
powerful. And look, we have to keep these on time, these sessions, and we've been on for more or less the duration of it. We'd know that Rex will be back in the future. Just before we wrap up and we kind of bring this to a conclusion, because I know top of the hour, Justin's phone goes crazy and there's other things going on. We appreciate you so much, Rex, and the insight that you've shared. If there was only one one sentence or one quote or one piece that you could write down that had to just be put in the glass, and that was it. The one thing that you could take from anything Napoleon Hill, of everything that you've learned in all of your life, and you just have that one thing that you just put that in. We're going to put the glass over it, and it's going to be put on the wall forever. It's a big ask, but what would that one thing that came to mind be that you'd want to see behind that glass for people to look at forevermore if nothing else could go up there?
I have one sentence to do this,
You've got a little paragraph. You've got a little bit, and that's all you've got.
Well, I would say you have dog shit or diamonds. It's a choice. And the first chapter of Think and Grow Rich, where you meet, who do you meet? Edward C. Barnes. And Edward C. Barnes had the uncanny ability that we all have to not look at circumstances, but to look within and to build his dream within, to develop the certainty that he would be Edison's partner. And there's a phrase in there where he says, and for many years or 5 years, nothing happened. There was no outward evidence that anything would ever change, that he would ever be a partner to Edison. But within him during that period of time, he kept his dream alive. So he ignored the circumstances for what he had in his own imagination. And because of that, when the opportunity presented itself, as Hill will always say, it's always through the back door, he said, I will do that. And he got it. And he became the partner of Edison that he had intended to be when he first went to see him. So ignore the circumstances doesn't mean don't solve problems. It means don't let them be your victor. You be a victor to them. And that's what Hill is so strong on. It's
just amazing. Like I said, my favorite thing about Hill and Secrets of Success is you literally can have anything that you want. Like, for real, like whatever it is. Edward C. Barnes, wanted to be Thomas Edison's partner and started sweeping a broom in the mailroom and got it all the way up to doing millions of dollars of business as a partner. And it's whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life. These are the secrets to success, whether that's health, wealth, relationships. It's all of here for you. We want to help you get there, and just keep showing up, asking questions, be a part of the community, show up at the Think and Grow Rich Challenge. And if there's anything any of us here can do to help you, we are here to help, and we are here to serve. And just wanted to thank Rex Sykes for coming on today. And
Justin,
yeah, and it's you're a wealth of knowledge, and I know you do a lot of great things as an actor and NLP, and we've run into each other in other masterminds. And just thank you for sharing all of your insights and your dedication. And I know there's a lot of people out there that will be able to glean some of those nuggets that you just brought there for us. And really honored and happy to have you here, Rex. And any final thoughts there, Danny?
Just a pleasure as always. We always run out of time. We've always got amazing guests. We're always doing amazing stuff. Rex, thank you so much. We'll chat for a brief second behind closed doors. But I guess for everybody, big shout to Zach and Chico, everybody in the chat, to Alison, who's joined us as well. We know Kim will be out there somewhere, and the usual Round Peggers, Secrets of Success. We will be back normal time next week. But for now, you guys, thanks so much. We're out of here.
Take care.